Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's time.
What is going on, everybody? We are now live. Yeah, it says here that we are live here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. It is Tuesday, November the 18th, 2025, and this is another edition of the Raw Rundown. Here to discuss everything that went down last night on Monday Night Raw for your Monday, November 17th, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw. As always, it is me. It is Steve. What's going on, everyone? I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. I hope all of you are just, relaxed, chilling, and all that stuff. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through all your social media platform, wherever it is that you share wrestling videos with all your friends and all that fun stuff. Also, follow us on Twitter at AT.Network. But what's going on, everyone? I hope all of you are enjoying yourselves. We have West and we have Brandon Brown, 18 months, and many more. What's up, ATP and gang? We appreciate that, brother. 18 channel member for 18 months. And if you guys want to become a channel member, you know how. It's only by clicking that join button. It's only by clicking that join button. Okay? That's how you become a channel member here. It's only $2.99 a month. And with that, one of the perks that you get to have is that you get to watch wrestling with us. That's right. Some, on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and if I'm available on Fridays, we will watch wrestling as a family. Now, that's how it works. Basically I provide the link and we all watch. Like, what was it? Like last week, we had Alan watching with us. Yesterday, we had Brandon Brown in the chat watching as well and all that stuff. So it's a vibe. So again, guys, if you've not yet, if you want to become a channel member, it's only $2.99 a month. Hit that join button. Now, if you don't see the join button, hit that link that you see down below in the description box. We also have Weston here, also another channel member. This Raw was as close to perfect as you can get. What a great Raw. I thought overall Raw honestly was a very, very fun show. They carried that momentum from last week. Granted, last week Raw was in Boston, was Cena's hometown, right? A lot of people would feel that should have been the place where, he ended his career, but that did not happen. So instead, that's happening in Washington. But again, look, Raw was in New York, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, okay? The world most famous arena, the home. It's crazy to think, right? Last Saturday night, Madison Square Garden had an octagon. It was UFC 322. It was Jack Della Maddalena defending the UFC welterweight championship against Islam Makhachev, where Makhachev went up in weight and just broke Jack Della Maddalena. To think that it happened in that building, and then 2 days later, it was set up for a wrestling show. I had friends that did go to the show. One of my coworkers actually went as well, him and his girlfriend, and it was his first time. It was his first time being able to see John Cena live. And obviously, it was John Cena's final Raw appearance, right? His last Monday Night Raw in this retirement tour. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings with the retirement tour. What it should have been, what we did not get, and all that stuff. Like, I'm enjoying the last run of it because of the matches, right? There's some stuff that I feel like has been hit and miss. But again, for my coworker, it was his first time seeing John Cena live, and he had a blast. He had a blast for the most part. I did my contributions already. I went to WrestleMania. I went to SummerSlam. I got to see number 17, right? Then I got to see him, that being Cena, lose that championship. So It is what it is, but I had a blast. So I feel like I've done my part with the retirement tour. But I felt like Raw last night, besides it being John Cena's final Monday Night Raw, despite it being, the return of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, we also saw some shocks here, some shocks of, Maxine Dupree and her becoming the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. I know a lot of people are not happy with it. A lot of people are kicking the can as we speak. Check up on your Becky Lynch homies. Check up on them. And then also you had 2 matches that were added to Survivor Series. And overall, like I said before, for me, I thought this show was a very, very enjoyable show. The crowd was into this, obviously. Again, look, I said this before and I'll say it again. The Northeast, we are the most passionate fan base when it comes to pro wrestling. That's just the way that it is. And overall, I thought everyone who was there delivered, and they just killed. The crowd was electric for the most part. But then again, it's Madison Square Garden, right? It's WWE's home, and also factor in it's John Cena's last Raw appearance, his final appearance inside of Madison Square Garden as a competitor. It's crazy, right? And funny enough, we start off the show. You see people walking into the building and all that stuff, right? You see Becky Lynch angry with, I guess, some of the pictures that are on the walls of Madison Square Garden. But we kicked the show off with John Cena. We kicked things off with John Cena, and he was decked out in Yankee gear. Who would have thought, man? A Red Sox fan decked out in Yankee attire or Yankee-inspired attire. Look, it's a nice shirt, nice hat. Again, it was it was cool to see, right? For the most part, got a big ovation, obviously, right? Who would have thought as well? Like for so many years, New York City hated John Cena, but then again, I feel like the entire wrestling fan base, right? For so many years, right? You've heard the John Cena suck chants, right? Or the Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks. And again, how do I put this? My experience watching John Cena. Look, when I was, when I was in the 8th grade, going into my freshman year of high school and stuff, Cena was on that rise, right? And he again was the guy. And then as years went on, he literally became the guy, and he became my nephew's favorite wrestler to watch, So granted, he's responsible for one of the bad made events that I got to see live, which was twice in a lifetime, right? But outside of that, like, when he's out there, bro, and he's having these matches and he's cutting these promos, the dude's amazing out there, right? And as you get older, right, all that hate and whatever you despise of John Cena as you get older, you learn to appreciate it, right? Considering now that he's, on his final days or final 3 dates of this retirement tour, and it's really starting to sink in like, damn, bro, he's really about to retire. I think I'll feel the same way should the day ever come that Messi decides to hang up the cleats. Or hell, I'll even say the same thing the day that Cristiano Ronaldo, decides to retire. You know what I mean? But it's crazy. Like, man, like for so many years, gets all this hate, and now he returns and he's getting all this love. It's so deserving, right? But he's in there, right? He's in the ring, and again, he's basically out there to, welcome the crowd. And he was thankful for his bittersweet farewell. However, he also goes on to say that, the one thing about New York is it can make you or break you, which is true, right? You know the old saying, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And it gets interrupted by Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio, who lost last week his Intercontinental Championship to John Cena. He gets in the ring and pretty much, he wants his rematch, right? Dominic Mysterio is demanding a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. And John Cena, knowing that this is his final Raw appearance, right? He knows this is it. You would think, hey, he may want to have, a match right then and there for the title, like defend the title. And Cena went on to accept the match, right? But he wanted that match again last night on Raw, right? In New York, Madison Square Garden, right? How cool that would have been. His last Raw match is a championship match, right? And Dominic's like, no, we're not doing things on your terms now. We're going to do things on my terms. See, last week we did it on your terms in your hometown and you beat me. Now we're going to do this rematch in my backyard in San Diego, California, right? Where I'll be the hometown guy at Survivor Series. And Cena accepted, and it was made official. It will be John Cena. I love that graphic, by the way. I love the fucking graphic. It's John Cena defending the Intercontinental Championship against Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. And let me just say, John Cena, we can now for sure know that he's not doing the War Games, right? And I know there were reports that were going out there that, it was going to be Cena and Dominic Mysterio at Survivor Series. And everyone thought, because what happened last week, that they were not going to run it back, right? As Survivor Series, the match wasn't going to happen, right? Everybody was under this idea that Cena might be in the War Games. Well, doesn't look like that. It does not look like that. And look, I said this on Kitchen when the news was circulating that, it was going to be Dominic and Cena at, Survivor Series in San Diego. And I'm going to say it again. Dominic Mysterio has come a long fucking way, bro. It's amazing to see the development of Dominic Mysterio. Because I remember I was one of those people. I don't know how many of you who've been following me since 2020, right? When Dominic just made his main roster, his in-ring debut, against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, right? I remember saying, if y'all remember too, this kid needs to go to NXT. This kid will be better off going to NXT. At the time, they started off Legado del Fantasma. And what better way to get this faction, get the ball rolling than by adding the son of Rey Mysterio, Dominic, right? Lucha royalty, right? In the eyes of a lot in the eyes of everyone in the wrestling, in the wrestling world, right? And they never did. They just always put Dominic with his dad, right? They were tag teams. And even then, he was still green. And I was always saying, put this kid on Tuesday nights. Put this kid on Tuesday nights. And eventually he turned heel, right? Joined the Judgment Day, right? And remember, he low blowed his dad, and he low blowed his dad and Edge, I think. Yeah, both of them, or he slapped one or the other. At the Clash at the Castle. So look how far this has gone, right? And now here we are, right? And look, for him, it was sink or swim. For him, it was sink or swim. And damn it, he made it work. He made it work, right? And now here he is, Dominic Mysterio. This will arguably be the biggest match of his career. Dominic Mysterio has to go out there and put on the performance of his life against John Cena. He's gonna have to do that. There's gonna be a little pressure, right? There's gonna be a little pressure, right, on him, because guess what? You're in your hometown. You're in your hometown, and you're facing arguably who they call the greatest of all time in his retirement tour. It's crazy, but I'm so happy for him. I am so fucking happy for Dominic Mysterio, right? But we forget at the same time he's that evil, conniving, piece of shit, right? So they accept, and then Mysterio, after the whole thing, of Cena accepting, that being Cena, was attacked by the rest of the members of the Judgment Day, that being Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And who would make the save? It would be none other than Sheamus and Rey Mysterio. Two men that Cena has history with. And being that Cena wanted to fight, you know what? He wants to have his last match at MSG. Let's make it a 6-man tag player to kick off the show. And that's what it was. And look, you got to understand, like, look, if you're someone who bought a ticket to the show last night and you go out there, you're like, yeah, Cena's last. Cena's going to be there. He's going to have a match. I hope he wrestles at least, right? And you're expecting probably a one-on-one match or some shit like that. And then you get there, you see the segment for what it is, and it's like 6-man tag. Fuck. But I get it. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. I'm cool with it. Because again, he's not going to go crazy when he has 2 more dates left on his retirement tour, a PLE match, right, against Dominic Mysterio, where they'll probably do something crazy, right, to honor Eddie, to honor Ray, and whoever it may be, and then the winner of the tournament at Saturday night's main event. So either way, it was cool to see him wrestle, right, if you were there live. The match itself, for the most part, it was a match you probably see at the house shows back in the day. Like if you go to like a house show, this is the kind of match that you would see, right? And for the most part, like as you expect, John Cena and friends, Rey Mysterio and Sheamus, right? They defeated the Judgment Day. I did like that moment there where they all did the 5-knuckle shuffle and Sheamus put Cena in the middle. I thought that was pretty cool, right? But there we go. I mean, again, a good way to kick off the show, right? And of course, what a way for Cena to have his final match in Madison Square Garden. And I do think, again, and just to point it here to Weston here, I think Cena's going to drop the strap at Survivor Series and then lose at Saturday night's main event. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. Or maybe, just maybe, Cena wins and then he loses the title at Saturday night's main event. Who knows, really? But at the same time, like, look, I know there's a lot of people, and look, I'm happy for Cena. I'm happy that he got to be this Grand Slam champion. But I've said this, and I'll say it again, did he really need to win the Intercontinental Championship? If we already are calling him the greatest of all time, but be that as it may, the crowd was into this and they were all just so happy to see him. And there you go. After this, we see this little, and again, if you are someone who watched Raw on Netflix through the VPN, you saw the whole thing, right? You saw there was a whole exchange because I guess Jackie Redmond, right, was going to interview someone who was sitting in the front row, and it turns out that it was none other than Andrew Schultz. And he got booed, obviously, right? It is what it is. And Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day, they all walk up, and there's like a back and forth. And one thing leads to another, and then you see Cam Scabetto and the rest of the New York Giants that were there, they get involved. And there's massive brawl between the Judgment Day of, again, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough versus Cam Scabetto, the Giants who were there, and Andrew Schultz. It looked cringy for the most part. Maybe too because I was high. You know what I mean? But outside of that, did it do anything for me? No, because is Andrew Schultz going to be involved in a match? Like, is he going to wrestle Dominic Mysterio at a WrestleMania next year? Can you imagine that? This leads to an Andrew Schultz match? As if we fucking need that, I hope not. And I hope I'm not putting anything into the fucking vortex. I hope not. God damn it, if it does happen, just come back to this episode of the Raw Rundown on November the 18th, 2025 at the 27th minute marker of this stream, podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But after this, you also saw Nikki Bella and Stephanie McCur, right? They like Stephanie McCur came out and then Nikki Bella attacked her. Nikki Bella attacked, and basically Nikki Bella said that she was not here to sit on the sidelines and she would win the title, right? She started speaking like, and also this too, like she started speaking in the most Caucasian way to speak Spanish. Like, I'm sure all of you out there probably took a language course in high school, right? And there's that, you know, when you talk in that language that you're studying in like level 1 beginners, that's how she sounded, talking Spanish, right? But all this because, again, she'll be damned if, no one respects her and, she want to take over the division again. It is official. It will go down as Survivor Series. It will be Stephanie McCur versus Nikki Bella for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Look, I know this is the match that no one asked for. Trust me, I did not ask for this match at all. But there it is. We got it, right? We got it. I get it. Maybe they feel that being the WWE, it is a stupid take, by the way. Maybe in their eyes, they feel like, Nikki Bella is this established name. So it would mean more for Stephanie McCur to defeat this Hall of Famer, right? Because at the end of the day, Nikki Bella is a Hall of Famer, right? So maybe for them, it might mean something. And I agree with this too. This is from Christopher Leclerc. What's going on, brother? Hope all is well with you. Nikki Bella lost to Roxanne Perez twice, and now she gets a Women's World Heavyweight Championship match. That's what I'm saying too. Wait a minute. She's getting a title shot, even though she just lost to Stephanie. She lost to Roxanne Perez twice. But again, they're in San Diego, right? I'm for sure the crowd will be pro Stephanie McCur. I'll be shocked if they're pro Nikki Bella, right? I'm sorry. After hearing her speak Spanish in that level 1 accent, I'm good, bro. I'm good. But be that as it may, at the same time, can you imagine if they give Nikki Bella the fucking title? If you thought people were being mad about Mike Santana this past Thursday, oh, brothers, oh, pals, y'all ain't seen the internet is going to lose it. Should Nikki Bella defeat Stephanie McCur? I'm just saying. It might. Let's hope not. But after this, we see backstage the Kabuki Warriors. They met up with Bayley and offered her a spot at War Games, and Bayley turned down the offer. Bayley, was told by Asuka that she's willing to forget about the past, and Bayley's like, "Nah, I'm good. I do miss number 1 contenders matches. We only get them sometimes now. Yeah, back when they made sense. Back when they made fucking sense. Now it's like, fuck it. What's the point, From there, yeah, I agree with this too, Chris. Nikki Bella is going to lose again. I hope so. From there, we go on to the first match of the Last Time Is Now tournament, the first round match. We had Solo Sikoa, and you're wondering who would be his opponent, right? People were wondering if you say his name, would he appear? Nope, that didn't happen. Instead, someone came out, a wanted man came out there and wanted to show the world. He's here to show the world. Dolph Ziggler, also known as Nick Nemeth in TNA, showed up, got this massive reaction. You would have thought this was 2013, the night after WrestleMania all over again, when Dolph cashed in and he got that big-ass reaction at the Izod Center. Still one of my regrets of not being there for that. One of my regrets. It is what it is. But he gets out there, bro, gets this big reaction, right? Even though it's like people again, I get it too. Is the casual fan, they're not aware that Dolph Ziggler is now Nick Nemeth. They're not aware that he is now the wanted man. They're not aware that, throughout this time that he's been gone, he's been wrestling in TNA, that he went to New Japan, right? They're not aware of this stuff. They're not, unless you tell them. And they probably wouldn't care, because that's just how casuals are, reality of the situation. And look, he went out there, bro, and he put on a performance of his life in MSG. Got this big reaction, right? Um, just like LA Knight on Friday, kicking out of the Rough Rider. Last night, Solo Sikoa kicked out of the Zigzag. you know. And again, I know a lot of people once again, why they're not calling him Nick Nemeth? Why are they calling him Dolph Ziggler? I just think it comes down to the fact that, again, the WWE fan who only watches WWE are not aware that guys like Nick Nemeth, or I'm sorry, Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder made a career for themselves post WWE elsewhere as, Nick Nemeth or Matt Cardona. They're not aware of this stuff. They, again, you could tell them, but they're just not going to care. And again, I was happy for him too. I was happy for him too, Weston. I was happy to see that Dolph Ziggler got this big pop, right? Put on this performance of his life, looked good out there, didn't embarrass himself, and look, the right person won. The right person won, and for the most part, look, man, do I expect what's it called? Do I expect Nick Nemeth to return? I don't know what's left on his TNA deal, but you think about it, right? Dolph Ziggler was in WWE for 20 years almost, and it's like, at this point, do you really want to see him back? Like, what's going to be different? What? Nothing. But we'll see. Maybe a Rumble appearance. I know he talked about it on Busted Open earlier today. So, look, he seems happy, but we'll see where they go with this. But again, two names that you kind of heard during the Cena pipe bomb, if I'm not mistaken. Like, remember when Cena cut that pipe bomb on SmackDown? And he did say about, hey, Claudio Castagnoli, hey, Matt Cardona. And I think also he said, hi, Nick Nemeth, right? Didn't he say that? Weston right here. This may sound stupid, but Nick Nemeth wouldn't get a pop. Dolph Ziggler obviously would. And I agree with that. And that's probably what was going through their mind. But again, there are those fans who did follow up on where he's been, and they now know him as Nick Nemeth. So if you're watching and you see that, he's on Raw, let me see what he did. He's Dolph Ziggler, though. He's not Nick Nemeth. The same as Friday when again, if that indie fan or that, hardcore fan who don't even watch WWE, but they found out that Matt Cardona showed up. He's sold out. Why is he Zack Ryder again? Again, these fuckers don't know. But be that as it may, I'm happy for Dolph. Had a good showing. He did lose to the Samoan Spike. And now, as a result of all this, Solo Sikoa will meet the winner of Finn Balor and Penta from Friday. So we'll see who wins on that match this Friday. But yeah, good for him. Good for Dolph Ziggler. Good for Solo Sikoa here getting the win. And again, I'm just happy to see these guys back. I'm happy, right? From there, we see like in the Raps, the New Day were interviewed and saying that they would not choke like they would not choke like the Indiana Pacers, right? Even though what's it called? Grayson Waller was out there wearing a Tyrese Halliburton jersey, which I thought was funny as hell. Stu's view on wrestling, right? I see why Nick and Dolph I see why Nick did Dolph, but Matt could have done Matt instead of Zach. That is true, but I think at the end of the day, it was a WWE call, and it's like, look, the reality is the people, and then again, I can't tell you how many people that I know who, again, are not aware that Matt Cardona is, had a career for himself outside of WWE, wrestling on the independents, doing the toy line, doing the podcast, right? Making money left and right in all these different avenues. They're not aware of all that stuff. They only know him as Zack Ryder. So when he showed up, I've had some friends. Oh man, is it true that Zack Ryder came back? I'm like, yeah, sure did. Sure did. So I guess for them, it's like that was probably what they thought that was going to be the reaction. But for the most part, he seemed happy. It's crazy. The New Day is off TV. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, bro. Like they had all this momentum when they turned heel, and then after that, they just let it cool off. It's fucking ridiculous. From there, we did see Alexa Bliss appear to talk about her situation with Charlotte Flair. She talked about how she knows the real Charlotte, right? And try to get her to, join the team. Because if you remember last week, Charlotte Flair did not want to be part of the War Games team with Rhea Ripley and all that other stuff. And then after this, out came, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, Nia Jax. And they were all going to attack Alexa Bliss. But then out of nowhere, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley accompanied Alexa Bliss, leading into a brawl. And then who happens to make the save for Alexa Bliss? Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair shows up and she makes the save for Alexa Bliss. They hug it out. And then on the other side of the ring, you see Io and Rhea hug it out. So it's like she's back on the team. I honestly wish they would have waited maybe another week for Charlotte to rejoin the team. That's just me, of course. But yeah, we'll see who else joins the War Games in a little bit here. We'll see. Because I know Rhea Ripley had a conversation with somebody backstage. Also, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but I mentioned earlier, like you had Andrew Schultz and the Giants and the Eagles were on the other side. They were all in the house last night. Also, who was there was Stephanie McMahon, and I guess her co-host from our podcast. And they showed the camera to them. But you know who they didn't show? Shane McMahon and his son. And I'm like, that's low. That is fucking low, in my opinion. Okay? Like, come on, bro. That's your brother. I'm just saying. From there, we did see also backstage, Paul Heyman talking to both the GMs, right? Because as you guys know, on Friday, Drew McIntyre joined Paul Heyman in the Vision, the War Games, and Paul Heyman wanted both GMs to know and thank them for allowing Paul Heyman to make the next selection, and he handed a contract to see who it is. They know who it was. We didn't know, even though we kind of did know technically. But not Nick. Adam Pearce was like, "Oh, this ought to be fun." So from there, I mean, look, you kind of knew where this was going, but to me, it's like it is what it is. From there, we did see the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch. My God. This match has the lowest rating on Cage Match right now. It's a travesty what they did to Becky Lynch last night. It is. They had Maxine Dupree walk out as the new Intercontinental Champion. I kind of saw it coming. When Becky hit, I believe it was the manhandle slam, and Maxine puts her foot on the bottom rope. I kind of saw like, yep, it's happening. Sure enough, it did. Off a crossbody. Keep in mind, yes, I am aware AJ Lee got involved. He showed up and Becky just froze. I know the referee was there too. I think her name was Jessica Carr, and she might have had some involvement too. It's just fucking ridiculous, bro. But Maxine Dupree is your new women's intercontinental champion. And look, it got a pop in the building, got a big reaction. People were going crazy for this. Um, again, she does have some fans. I am in the same boat here as a lot of people are in the space regarding when it comes to Maxine Dupree. I think she's a nice person. She looks beautiful, but then the bell rings, and it's like, yo, what progress have you made? And keep in mind, she is training with Natalia and Tyson Kidd in the dungeon during the time off television. So when they're not on the road, they're getting the reps in, and you still haven't gotten better. You know, yeah, it's just like, bro, what are we doing? You know, likely, look, she'll probably be a 2 week champion. Like, remember, Marty Jannetty beat Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship, only for Shawn to regain it back in '93. If you want to do that, like, all right, let her have this run for here to next week or 2 weeks, or maybe at Saturday night's main event. So be it. So be it. Or a Survivor Series. So be it. So be it. But yeah, I was not a fan of that. I just thought it was terrible what they did. Fucking horrible. From there, we go on to the last for the night, that is, right? The second match on the last time is now tournament match between Gunther and Javon Evans. And let me just say, Javon Evans last night delivered. He performed his ass off, bro. And I thought this was probably the best match in this tournament so far. And you knew, like, yo, when they announced this match, you already knew, like, yo, these two guys are going to deliver. And on top of all that, Gunther got his old theme song back, his old Walter theme song. Fucking badass, bro. Fucking badass. But again, these two guys, like Gunther, literally gave a beating, literally chopped up Javon Evans, right? But Javon kept on fighting, right? Got a near fall off one of the move that Gunther does, right? Um, Javon does hit the cutter for like a near fall as well. Again, like Gunther literally made Javon Evans look like $1,000,000 out there. And again, an amazing performance by Javon Evans in Madison Square Garden. I know later on tonight he will be competing. Him and um, oh my god, oh my fucking goodness. I know he's teaming up tonight with Leon Slater to take on the tag Dark State for the tag titles tonight. So that should be a good match at Hulu Theater. Sign me up. Sign me the fuck up. Um, but yeah, Gunther does advance. He does make Javon Evans tap out. So as a result of that, it will be next week. Gunther versus the winner of Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed. I don't know what it is, but something tells me that this Friday you might see that upset win. I do think Cody gets involved and costs Bronson Reed the match. I do think that will happen. But yeah, man, Gunther's advancing. Good for him. Javon Evans had an amazing performance, though, so you can't take that away from him. From there, we saw backstage, Maxine Dupree and AJ celebrating. Otis showed up, so did Tosawa. I guess the Alpha Academy is still a thing. And then Rhea Ripley shows up and asked if she could talk to AJ, to which AJ said yes. Many people are wondering, hey, will she join the War Games? And I think that would make sense, considering the fact that, hey, there's a big possibility that Becky Lynch might join the War Games and align herself with Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and the Kabuki Warriors. There is that possibility. So we'll see. But yeah, what a way to enhance things here with the War Games. And then after this, we did get the Paul Heyman was in the ring with the Vision and Logan Paul. And before he was interrupted by CM Punk, he was joined by Cody Rhodes and the Usos, right? And who happens to show up? Brock Lesnar, right? He was in the aid of the Vision. He's basically the next person to be in the War Games team with the Vision, right? And he clears the ring, right? He lays out Cody, lays out CM Punk. And they put the lower third on the bottom, the little lower third to end the show. And who happens to show up? Roman Reigns. Big pop, right? Him and Brock Lesnar are brawling. They're going at it, right? Roman's rocking a sleeve now, right? Looks badass. He looks like a badass out there. Bronson Reed tries to attack Roman Reigns, tries to lay him out with a tsunami, but Roman Reigns, Superman punch, and that's how they close the show. So we do know, obviously, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will be in the War Games match, right? We do know that there's still that tension between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. It should be a fun one. I'll be honest. I really don't think we need 2 War Games matches. That's just me. The same thing I said for the Blood and Guts. So I'm going to be fair here. But nonetheless, look, I do know that the women's War Games always tend to be that match that kind of is the better of the 2. But we'll see what they do. We'll see what goes of this. But yeah, man, look, Roman Reigns got a big pop. Brock Lesnar showed up. I know a lot of people weren't happy with that. A lot of people were like, oh, why is he here? What the fuck? This is bullshit, right? Stop it. And yeah, sadly, we are getting this at Survivor Series, unfortunately. But also we're getting this, John Cena, Dominic Mysterio. And also next week on Raw, we will see who gets the men's advantage for their War Games match. We'll see who gets the men's advantage as well. So that's what's happening next week. I know I did say that I was going to do a preview for Full Gear. Turns out I'm not. Turns out there is a chance I can do SAD on Thursday. And then after that, it's off to the races. We're out of here. So expect, because I do think also there will be a Steve's Kitchen here as well. So likely next Monday will be the post-show, not the post-show, the recap to Full Gear, and then the farewell to this place. And then Thursday, which is this Thursday, after SAD, I will preview Full Gear. Okay? But that is the plan of attack. Thank you all for tuning in. Much love to all of you. If you've not checked out Steve's Kitchen, I gave my thoughts on the whole debut of Zack Ryder back in WWE and the LOL TNA involving Mike Santana, and my thoughts on UFC 322, where Islam Makhachev is the new UFC welterweight champion. You can follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Point Network. Follow me on X at Heel Steven. Also, while you're at it, if you've not already, hit the like, hit that share button, hit the bell notification. Also, while you're at it too, if you want to become a channel member, hit the join button that you see on the bottom there. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Much love to all of you. For myself, for the gang, this has been the Raw Rundown here on the Around the Point Network. Peace out, y'all.